right, and we are back. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. Appreciate that. Should
We
all
did
be
it.
should all be hopefully clear sailing from here on out. So,
That's the hope.
in other news, speaking of next gen titles and such like that, this week we heard two different stories about next gen updates that'll be coming out soon. They are not the same. So first was Grand Theft Auto 5's long-awaited next-gen upgrade has been announced. It's not going to be a free upgrade, which is taking a lot of people by surprise. But though I gotta say, I don't put this past Rockstar to do something like this.
Nope.
Is it
This,
a
they've sold this on
surprise?
3 systems now.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be. Was it on PS3? Yeah, it was on PS3, right?
Yep. PS3 and Xbox, PS4 and Series or the Xbox One, and now it's coming to the new systems.
Yeah.
And PC also. The PC version was came after.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for a company that made how many billions of dollars off of shark cards and whatnot, why
Trying
would
to
they
find a
give?
car emoji, but it's not working. Here, you can have a rocket ship.
Whee!
We did it.
Why would they give away for free what they know people will buy?
But
Yeah.
what differences will there really be between the Series X and the Xbox One versions?
Literally nothing. It will be the same game. Probably if it's accessing the solid state drive, it might load faster. It might look
Ray
a
tracing?
tiny bit better. Yeah, what was the difference with all the versions of Skyrim Bethesda launched on every system in the known universe?
So that's actually a good point, Brian, about the difference between the systems there, because the upgrade for Series X and S will cost $30 US, while PlayStation Plus subscribers can get it for $10 US.
That's
but
not a horrible price, I guess.
The $10 US, that's a pretty standard upgrade price for most other things. But the $30 for the Xbox gets me, because it's you're not getting anything for that, really. You're not getting the haptic feedback on the controllers. You're getting 4K, but that's Grand Theft Auto. It's an old game anyways. That's not really, doesn't need to be up to spec anyways. So yeah, I mean, PlayStation owners will be used to that kind of $10 upgrade by this point. Gran Turismo does it. Horizon did it. A lot of other games are doing it. That's fine, but $30 is kind of ridiculous. You can buy the base game for $10-15 brand new most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's kind of ridiculous considering the fact that you can get. You were saying, right now it's sitting used on the PS3 for $20, on the Series X and the Xbox One and the PS4 it's sitting at $39. So it's the price of the game again, basically, if you're on Xbox.
Oh man.
But meanwhile, Dying Light 2 Dying Light has announced that game is getting a next gen patch, which you're bringing up close to Dying Light 2. But that's going to be a free upgrade for people who own the game already. So,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a solid move on their part, on Techland's part.
Yeah, that studio really cares about their players. So,
well,
not saying Rockstar doesn't. It's a different way of approaching it.
Aren't we though? No, it's because that's what I was gonna kind of say to Brendan's point, that I think most developers have to be aware of the situation, sort of with COVID, with availability shortages, with chip shortages that make just production of the PS5 and even the Xbox Series SX difficult. Most yeah, okay. SX tricky.
Yeah.
You're the one to go low, huh?
What I'm here for.
Most gamers don't have access to these new consoles yet. With the exception of some the handful of people who were able to get them, even in this current podcast. So releasing games on a PS4 still, and then just saying, okay, here, you bought the game, we're not going to charge you twice, or we're not even going to charge you for an upgrade because we know you can't get this system yet. So once you do get it, here, you can have this upgrade because your money's just as good on the PS4 or on the PS5. So I guess doing this really does just feel like a case of double dipping. Now, I was gonna ask Chris, did it say that like the $10 upgrade, is that like permanent upgrade for PS Plus members? Or is that like if you cancel your subscription you lose the
I don't think
game?
they've said.
That I don't know, but
Yeah.
normally with the sale stuff, I believe.
Yeah, it just gives you
when
a discount.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like having
Not-
Prime.
All right.
you
Then,
get,
yeah,
like,
it's okay. Yeah. It's a PS Plus owner discount. Gotcha. Yeah, because that's what I was kind of wondering. Yeah. So in that case, it really does just. It seems like the case to me that like Rockstar knows its fan base will pay money for these things because historically they have been. So it's just like, why would they give away for free what they know they can make money on?
I
Yeah,
just can't believe like making money off of a game for that long. Like I don't even judge them. Good for them. Like
But
I mean,
and
it's
that
Go ahead,
like what I was saying, it's like it's not even like they're making money off the game itself. They're making money off microtransactions for the game, for the economy that they sort of designed a certain way, and then they literally put a casino into the online so you could lose all your in-game money and have to buy more shark cards. Like it all works together. The wheels start turning.
I do stuff like that too. There's even websites you can stream on that you pay a little bit of your in-app currency to boost you to the front page or do whatever, and you're like, hey, all that money that I made from what I was doing, I've now spent on absolutely nothing, and I need to add more money. And it's
Well, if you're boosting to the front page, then at least it's like that's like paying for advertising. You're investing at that point.
not maybe.
You're not
Except they're not
paying
really.
Well, I mean, you're not paying for fake money to buy fake cars in a fake video game that when the new one comes out, nobody's gonna play anymore.
I'm also the same kind of person with that fake money. I'll be like, I'll buy like this little treasure chest in this game or this little whatever. I am 100% a gambler. It's a problem. Like, should not be allowed to go to casinos.
It's a problem.
People need to take my cards. Like,
it's a problem that game companies shouldn't be exploiting.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, that's a given.
Thank you, Brett.
Don't exploit people is a pretty solid price to go around. Yeah, no, like I wouldn't even begrudge them for charging $10 across the board for upgrades. Like people put work into the next gen upgrades. That's fine. I mean, the coffers at Rockstar are not exactly running dry at all, but the charge $30.
The game does that, and they're like, hey, here's full price again, but like a little X.
Yeah, I have no problem having some cost to upgrade because it does, as you were mentioning, Chris, it does take the team effort, money, etc., to do it properly. If it's a good version of the game, it makes sense. Like, I'm not going to say that for GTA, the definitive edition, because that one you could see they cut corners, and I don't think they should have charged full price for it. But
yeah, absolutely.
For like a $10 upgrade, that's fine. I think $30 for the game that already you can buy for $30 is a bit much.
Especially when there's none of the next gen stuff. Like half the next gen stuff isn't even in it. You can't do the haptic feedback.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's
That's like the point. What else is there aside from just kind of looking pretty?
It looks good.
rather looking pretty and running a little faster.
I'd pay money to look pretty too. It's fine.
Not taking an hour to get online every time.
Load screens and stuff like that. Yeah.
That being said, I mean,
okay,
the current version probably runs pretty damn well on the Series X, anyways. But this all
does. I think there was some people comparing what the trailer did compared to what it does now with just a standard solid state drive, and it's comparable.
So, well, that's it's coming next week on March 15th. It's kind of a surprise launch for anyone who's actually interested in that. But
I mean, it's a game I never finished. It's a game that I thought it had really good elements, and I loved what they were doing. But then I got bored because it's like any open world where it's just a lot of, you get to kill everyone. I'm like, okay, I've done this. Cool.
San Andreas and 5 are the same for me like that. Yeah.
I think I played San Andreas, and I think it was my brother's at the time. Like, I don't even think it was mine. So it was get in a car, run over as many people as possible, get in trouble, turn off the game. So
I definitely fell in the trap with that game where like I kind of started playing the story mode and I was into it. But then I started playing the online and I got more into the online. But then like Brendan said, there's not like a lot to do with the online. And this was pre-heist era. GTA
the heists make it
online.
interesting a little bit.
But even the heists, like the way they implemented them, like even like to this day, it's like it's very rare that you get into a heist with a group of people, like, and you do it start to finish. 9 times out of 10, you just join, you try to join a heist, and like it's just like it's someone on the last leg of the heist trying to like find a group to get, and then they always want to split the money like 90 to 10% for everybody else. It's like it's not fun to do that. So it's kind of exactly what happened, is that you get bored because you get too deep into the online and there's just not that much to do, and then you don't want to go back to the story mode. There was a really great quote from a Penny Arcade comic that I think really serves it, where it's Tycho said, when given the freedom to do anything, people tend to do nothing. And I think that's very true of GTA, at least GTA 5.
Well, I mean, it prints money, so why do anything?
But
You can
but
do
there you
nothing
go.
and print money.
Yeah, people love tedium.
I mean, even
Jordan, he did a whole article about it.
I
Sure.
did.
Doing
Well,
my
but- okay,
chores from my bed.
But I wasn't doing chores at that point. I was literally just getting in a car and driving places, and it's like, oh,
That's the
this is-
newest
this is
simulator that's
neat.
out, though. It's essentially being an Uber.
Yeah, but okay, there is.
In
I will
Italy.
say there
well,
is
that's
a
charming.
certain degree of charm to like Truck Driver Simulator in those games. There is a certain degree of
There's
charm.
so
to them.
many simulators.
If you do it right, it's actually kind of engaging.
My niece and my nephew are obsessed with Goat Simulator.
That's
They're not
a
even
weird
goats
game.
half the
Lol,
time. I don't get
random.
it.
Yeah.
I got it.
I don't know how that
What I-
game
what-
is still relevant.
What I find weird, speaking of simulators, is that like I've heard of kids who live on farms who will finish their chores on the farm and then want to play Farming Simulator 2022.
That game is huge. Like that game is
I don't-
bonkers
yeah.
huge.
I can't believe the following for that one. But especially like, okay, you live on a farm, you're doing the real chores.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do it virtually? Do anything
Better
else?
sense of accomplishment. I'm not tired this time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
practice.
maybe it's like you see it happen faster too. Like even with like Stardew Valley, like you can kind of like you go through the days a lot faster. You actually see the fruits of your labor sooner than you would if you actually worked in a wait literal months to see like any like crop.
Anyways, I think I'd rather play Farming Simulator 22 than revisit Grand Theft Auto 5 at this point.
Either way, I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, either way.
No.
Yeah, so today, surprisingly, Blizzard reminded us that Overwatch 2 exists and a beta is coming soon.
Who knew?
Don't you mean Microsoft reminded us?
Well, not yet.
No, that's not gone through yet.
Let's get the terminology ready.
And they even had the audacity or the good humor, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it, to include it's been 0 days since the last Overwatch 2 update in their tweet about it. So they're having some giggles over there.
I feel like I should give Overwatch a shot.
Overwatch is a really good game. It's a really good game, and it's like base form. I'm not sure how this new one's going to be.
I came from WoW and from Fortnite. I feel like I have to make my way to Overwatch. That's like a...
I mean,
yeah, well, Fortnite came from the Overwatch hype.
Yeah, like
let's be honest, guys. Overwatch is really just like puffed up paladins. Like, let's be honest.
Paladins.
No, I don't think.
We all know which game happened. Yeah, we know where the inspiration came from. Where.
Oh man,
is that game still around? Honestly,
you know what? It is actually. I think it still has a pretty big following.
Sure, why not?
Because
these games all get like a really entrenched audience. Yeah, so maybe there's like 500 people playing it or something, but like something ridiculous like that. But there's a very entrenched community for all these games, I think. Yeah, the PvP beta is going to happen in late April. It's the 5-on-5 mode, I'm not sure how that's going to play. I'm sure it'll probably be fine, but it's going to be really weird for a while.
It'll be fine eventually.
And I believe the new Canadian map is included in it because they went out of their way to put the maple leaf emoji in their tweet.
Like, what's that going to be like from a Canadian perspective? Like, what? Are we just going to be fighting on donuts, or will there be beavers involved?
Where you get stuck in them. And you're
you spend half the level waiting in line at Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I'm pretty sure Tim Hortons kept behind us somewhere. There it is, right there. You see it?
I threw all mine out actually. I had a stack accumulating. It's Roll the Rim season, baby.
Yeah,
is it really
all done through app now?
It's all done on the app now. Yeah.
Oh, that means I got like not Broly Uppy the Rim stuff. I got an ice cap. Boo.
We
You
all
can still roll up a rim. Oh no, you couldn't on ice cap because they go in a regular non.
Here,
Paper.
progenitor
till they
has a
get you.
good. This is next for Canada, I'm pretty sure. Tim
We don't
Hortons
need that.
Simulator.
Oh man.
Anywho.
Yeah, and the one kind of cool thing about this too is that the new hero Sojourn is both Canadian and a African American woman. Well, not African. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that.
Wow.
A black woman because it's for the first time in the game. So a lot of people are excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Overwatch has always been really good with like the representation for the characters. They've always had a very diverse cast that's been handled pretty well overall. So it's nice to see them filling in, a gap there.
For sure.
But it remains to be seen how that'll turn out. Stay tuned for coverage on that as it comes up.
Yes.
If you're really curious, you can sign up for the beta, though I've heard people are having trouble doing that because, of course, they are. One other thing too. This week, Nintendo announced they are indefinitely delaying Advance Wars 1 and 2, the remasters, in light of recent effects in Ukraine and Russia. I think it's probably a wise move on their part.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
It was
I dig it.
genuinely, like, I don't know, interesting, but also upsetting. Like when going on, and further reason why I'm like more or less off of Twitter, because when I saw the tweet, right, like I was just on Reddit checking updates for game stuff, and I saw that, and I click on it, go to Twitter, and I'm just like, out of morbid curiosity, like, I wonder what people are saying about this, and the amount of people who were like, yo, what the hell? Why are they doing this? What does this have to do with Russia and Ukraine? What is this going to affect? And blah blah blah. And people were just like, wow, like.
What's it going to affect? Nothing. Is it tasteless to release a game like this? In light of this, probably.
Game, in the middle of an active invasion, maybe not.
One interesting thing I heard about all this too is that the original Advance Wars came out in North America on September 10th, 2001.
Yeah.
And then was then delayed in other regions for its release after 9/11. So,
well, there you go.
Smart.
Weird instance of history kind of repeating itself in some ways.
There you go.
It just it seems like kind of like what you said, Chris. Like, is it really going to do anything? Probably not. But it is a very like tasteful move right now, just to like understand that. Yeah, maybe maybe not releasing the next like Call of Duty is a good idea during like an active war. Like,
boy,
that would be interesting to see if they would do the same thing over Call of Duty. I wonder. Yeah,
well, Call of Duty is already delayed, so hopefully they won't have that chance.
And for the most part, I mean, like, I think Nintendo and like a lot of other gaming companies are kind of like also making active steps. Like I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Nintendo like blocked like any kind of like adding like funds to accounts in Russia for like eShop and stuff, and I'm not sure to what degree they're like sort of like halting the release of any games out there, but like at least they are taking some steps to kind of say like, look, we need to cut ties with these guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like one by one. Most companies are announcing things like this. I think I saw earlier today that Bungie is suspending sales in those regions as well for Destiny. Doing things like handing out the emblems to show your support in game and encouraging people to donate, things like that. So yeah, like that affects those companies too, right? Like Bungie isn't going to see sales in those regions, and Russia is not exactly a small region.
It has a lot of people.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was just a little follow up on our lead story last week. But let's move into our reviews and impressions segment, which is kind of a thin one this week.
It is. I mean, I can talk for a second.
Well,
Oh, you want me to?
I thought you were going into something there.
Oh,
so.
I wasn't. No, it's
I
just
could talk for a second, but I won't.
very early impressions. I finished up with the Fold 3 this week, and now I've moved on to the Samsung S22 Plus that I just closed the screen on, so I can't even show you because it's amazing. Basically crushing it at life. Nice shiny new toy here. Woo! Oh, I bought a case because I'm gonna break it, and that's bad. So, but she's pretty. What did we decide it was? Rose quartz or something?
Something like
Rose
that.
quartz, brush,
It's a nice
nickel.
It is. It's my pink phone. I love it.
pink.
It's beautiful.
Whatever name they
So
have for
far,
pink nowadays.
so far, way easier to hold than the Fold 3. Significantly thinner to the point where I've been like feeling weird after switching. But it's pretty good so far. I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope I never have to say goodbye. So that's a good sign. And my case is cute. So there's
It is.
Well, there's always that.
Battery life's really good too. It's been chilling. I've just been like streaming stuff all day, and I'm still at 57%. So I dig that.
That is one thing that I give Android. Battery life is definitely better than my Apple phone.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
But yeah, Brendan, you were checking out some earbuds this week.
I checked out the Sennheiser CX True Wireless Earbuds. Sennheiser is really good at making really quality products, and I was surprised with the price on these ones because they're cheaper than a lot of the other earbuds. They're cheaper than the iPod Airs. They're cheaper than the Razer Buds. They're cheaper than a lot of that stuff, but they sound really good. They have a really crisp, clear sound that has a good soundscape. It has a richness to the color, richness to the sound, and a color to the sound. That was a word. I got there eventually.
You just said richness and color. That also is an option.
But they don't have some of the more advanced features. Like they don't have the active noise canceling isn't great, that sort of thing. And they do have touch sensitive controls in the headset, but they also don't look that great. They look kind of like generic headphones. But if you want really good sounding headphones, they're great. If you want trendy headphones, they probably aren't that. They do have a plasticky feel.
Calling trendy.
Yeah, those are trendy.
Trendy AF.
For a second, I thought you were putting lipstick on, actually. So
See?
I totally forgot those existed for a moment.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, the Sennheiser headphones are really good. I'm excited to try out their Pro version, which is the higher end one that has a few more features, and we'll see how those are. But for now, if you want a budget priced headset that sound really good, the Sennheiser are great.
Awesome.
I dig it.
And that's reviews.
Hey,
that's it.
That's it for reviews. I got some stuff for next week, but haven't got my hands on it just yet. Top secret. And yeah, so we'll move into the what you play in segment because I think this one might be a little more involved than usual because there's some common threads here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go first. Actually, get this out of the way.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
Tell us, Chris.
So I checked out Gran Turismo 7. I am not a big driving game person, like kart racing games aside. I mean, everyone loves a kart racer. But I was very curious about just how this would look on PS5 and how because this used to be a series that I had on PlayStation and PS2 just to show off how good it looked, right?
That's exactly what I was just about to say. This was like the PlayStation's like defining like tech game.
Yeah, and it still very much is that. So I played the PS4 version first because I went and rented it. And they only had the PS4 version, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I'll just grab this and just grab the upgrade. It's $10 to upgrade for PS4 to PS5, which sucks, but that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. It looks very good on PS4, even on the PS5. But when I did switch, when I did get to upgrade to the PS5 version, I sometimes can't tell what's real and what's like simulated, right?
Really?
Like
they're getting in your car later that day.
Yeah, it's like is the return for Uncanny Valley for inanimate objects, like because this is where we're at. Right. Yeah, there are these like sizzle reel things like so when you're buying a car, you can like put it into these simulated scenes to kind of get a sense for what it looks like at different angles and blah 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 blah. The scenery is just immaculate. It looks like it's taken from a real photo and just added the car into it. Like the seams between it is really hard to find. It's less impressive in gameplay because obviously there's a lot more going on. Like those videos, the sizzle reel videos are a little easier to to front load the graphics onto those. But it's still very impressive in gameplay. The controllers feel like the haptic feedback feels really intuitive and cool. I haven't played a lot of the PS5 version just yet, but yeah, no, it's very impressive. Like this is definitely going to be the thing that I'm going to be showing off. Like this is what the PS5 can do. Like look at this. The lines between. We are in the Matrix now.
Can we just like circle back for a second to the point where you said you rented it?
I went to Jumbo
Can't
Video.
believe Jordan let that go
Okay.
for that long.
Like it was 1999. I went down to Jumbo Video and rented it for the
You
weekend.
have a Jumbo Video still?
I
Video still.
genuinely am in disbelief right now.
It's still the past is now.
Okay, so our Jumbo Video is like around the corner from where I live now. I used to go. Do they still have popcorn? Do they have popcorn?
Yes, they do.
Ooh,
They
what a staple.
I don't know if
see,
Miscast
now-
Joe is listening right now, but whew,
just to throw this out there, I'm not sure they're doing because of COVID, but the one here does sell packaged popcorn though, like different flavors and stuff. So I had my kids with me when I went to pick up the game, and they picked up some confetti popcorn. And it was great.
Okay, 2 questions back to back. Number 1, Brendan, you've been here a while. Have you been to That's Entertainment here?
No.
Okay, that's our like you can still rent stuff place. We're going. There's snacks.
Okay.
But Chris, back to Gran Turismo 7. You said you went with your kids and stuff to rent it and do all that to rent it and do all that jazz. Have your kids been interested in playing it, watching you play it, anything like that? Because it's pretty realistic game compared to like a kart racing, if you will.
Not as much, no. But granted, the one time I was playing it around them, I was in the licensing tests, and those are kind of tedious and small and boring. Yeah, like that's one thing I was hoping was not a thing anymore. I haven't played Gran Turismo since like 2 or 3, and that always helped me up from progressing before. So I was like, yeah, great, these are still here. But
I'm curious to see if your kids will end up wanting to whip around the track.
Well,
yeah, they're much more interested when I booted up Chocobo GP earlier today. Like, oh, this is cool. I want to see that thing do some magic or something. Like, yeah.
There's
the photorealism was kind of lost on them.
Yeah,
I think there's kind of a specific age for when you kind of stop being like solely interested in like sort of the silly fun like kart racing games and kind of move on to like, oh, this is what the big kids are playing. Because I remember like I went through that too.
Yeah.
Where like Mario Kart was like my only game to play, and then like when my sort of like older brother, my older cousins like were playing like Gran Turismo and other like racing games on like early like Burnout on the GameCube, like I tried like I like really wanted to get into it to be like like one with the cool kids, but then you also kind of like do like find that there is a lot more like nuance and sort of like skill to it, and it does like sort of elevate your ability as like a game playing.
33 there. I got no skill. I'm just gonna crash. That's what we're here for. But no, Chris's daughter and my son are actually the same age-ish. I don't know if it's the exact same. And I find that my son is now at that age where he's like, well, I want to drive the cool car, I want to do that. But I was just curious to see if his younger one would want to smash stuff.
No,
because my son probably wouldn't have been that way when he was younger. So
he wanted to go to he wanted me to play Mario Kart. Like he kept saying Mario Kart.
Yeah,
I'm like, just let me finish this license. No, Mario Kart.
If you're gonna race the right one, Dad.
Right, exactly. No, and part of that's also a thing from the household too. Like I'm not a car guy. Like I bought Gran Turismo because it's like a popular first party game. Not because I love cars.
Good.
I very much my car needs to get me from A to B. It needs to have air conditioning. It needs to have a stereo in it. That's all I care about.
I miss my butt warmer.
Yeah.
I have a butt warmer.
What about the gaming mobile you guys are driving around? Don't you miss that?
That was pretty great. I do miss that car.
Yeah, no, Gran Turismo 7. It's pretty interesting. I'm surprised at how chill it is actually. Sometimes like the hub town that you go to, where you spend like time between races and stuff. It's got a really laid back, almost like doesn't seem like a racing game type vibe, right? Like I tried Forza Horizon earlier this year, and like it was very much like a youthful like Burning Man festival type vibe to it. Meanwhile, Gran Turismo was like, oh, here, just come into our cafe and talk to the fancy car guy. who really wants you to know everything about car history. So yeah, it's
Car cantina.
basically.
Anyway.
But yeah, that was Gran Turismo 7. So
all right, I dig it.
Do we want to get to the elephant in the room, or do you want to pick out some of the small fries first?
I'll go small. I'm just real quick. I'm playing Story of Seasons.
Which one?
We figured out Pioneers of Olive
Okay.
We figured it out. I'm still going. I do not need a journal, it turns out, and I'm figuring things out. I still don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm doing stuff, and that's what counts.
Just farm.
It's
just
good.
Build a farm.
Yep, that's all I'm doing. I'm just
like
living
Stardew.
a happy life.
It's pretty like it's pretty easygoing. Like they give you very like simplistic sort of like baselines to complete. So like I think your first one will be like building the bridge that connects your like two
I just did that.
two little areas. Yeah.
But now I gotta fix the next base, but I don't know how to make the right pieces yet. So I've just got a little stray cow that I go and say hi to.
As we all do.
Yeah.
All the wood that you'll get, like there's like certain trees will give you, like once you get to that little, like it's like they section the areas that you go to, like that give you like the different materials that you need. So like your first area will give you like just like basic like wood, and then the next area you chop the trees down, it gives you like hardwood, and then the next area gives you like the strong lumber. Or
I
whatever.
need to go level up my tools right now because I'm getting really mad trying to cut down the hardwood. So that's where I'm at, trying to make bank.
Yeah, so just take your time.
As we all do.
It's kind of like I don't think it's not like Stardew or like even earlier Harvest Moons that kind of give you this like, oh, in this many years your ghost of grandpa will come back and judge your farm. Like it really isn't any of that. No, so you kind of can just like take your time with it and build the sort of farm that you want to build. Like it's the one issue I kind of find myself having with it is that like they give you a lot of space, but you don't really have a lot of need for all that space. So it just feels like, and it's just like the way you like build stuff too feels kind of a little unintuitive. So you know,
right
you want to build
a kind of like talk to everybody. I've got like a really small like little 3x3 farm right now. Like I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just making friends. I want to date Damon if anyone cares.
So you found your target then.
Like I did, but I can't find him all the time. I really need to work on that. Like I need to go find out where he's at because I've talked to him like twice. And I'm like, oh, there he goes, run after him. Hi, boyfriend. He does not like me. He's like, why are you here? Okay.
It's find their likes and like always carry that thing in your pocket. Yeah.
At all times. Yes, this is where we're at in life.
I went for what's her name? It's Damon's sister. No, the girl who works at the animal shop.
All right. I don't know her name. She's cute.
I figured her name. I haven't played the game in a while, so I forget. Bridget.
I never remember. Bridget. That's a name.
Yeah, she's super cute.
There you go. And this is where we're at.
Look how cute she is.
She looks bubbly and adorable. I picked a bad
love her
boy.
little pixie cut too.
I assume Damon's just covered in tattoos.
He rides his motorcycle out of town. One of these days he's gonna get out of this ramshackle town.
And I'm gonna be on the back with my helmet on.
That's pretty scandalous for a Story of Seasons games. Tattoos. Whoa. This is a conservative farming town.
Harvest Moon 64 like pretty much like opens with Karen yelling at her dad about being a drunk because he worked on a vineyard.
Okay.
And she hated him.
That's true.
Got dark.
So what's our next one? Our next Wii one, I believe, is
there any Wii
Brendan.
one? Oh, I mean, I played a bit of Hitman Sniper. It's the new Hitman game on mobile. It's made by IDOS Montreal.
You got
and it's weird because it's not part of the assassination universe at all. So Agent 47 isn't really taking place, but people know it. You have your handler still there. Some characters from the games do appear, but it is not canonical with the modern console games. It's also very strange because Square Enix got rid of the Hitman license, so now IO Interactive owns it, but they're still doing the mobile games. So it's really strange to me for some reason.
It's a weird loophole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about loopholes.
Interesting.
Just sliding right through.
But honestly,
Slide down.
I think the team did like the Hitman Go game. They did the original Hitman Sniper. So I think they do a really good job with maximizing what mobile can do. The game looks great. They did a graphic style that looks fantastic, even with like the small screen and such. But it is like it is a game where you basically it's a puzzle game trying to kill people in different ways to use the scenery around it, but it's all from a distance rather than the Hitman game where you
That is
walk
pretty
around
cool,
and find
actually.
Yeah,
because like Hitman, even the newer Hitmans have been defined by their way of like getting up close and personal and kind of like hiding in plain sight. So having to use those same mechanics, but like from a distance, sounds like does sound like a very like unique spin on the whole thing.
So I like the fact you can shoot like a bucket and it'll distract them. You can shoot someone so they fall into a like a truck or they fall into a snow blower thing. It's interesting. Or
Fargo style. Yeah, Fargo style.
Yeah, Fargo. Can you imagine if that happened in Fargo just from a distance?
It's actually really cool. It's really cool.
I've never been able to get into mobile games that require a lot of like movements or anything like that. I've never been good at it with a phone.
It's hard.
Like give me the Candy Crushes and everything that came after it. I love puzzle games like that, like the matching and double pop.
This is all more of just like moving your like reticle and doing things from a distance. You don't really walk around or do any of that sort of stuff.
Like, have you guys tried to play Fortnite on mobile at all? Like,
no,
actually try.
I can't try it. So
I can barely play like Sonic emulators on a mobile phone.
Yeah,
like,
I'm glad it's not just me then, because usually I just pull the like, well, I guess I suck card. But
and it's interesting because I see my uncle play that Call of Duty game on mobile like all the time, and like that, as much as I like don't really care for Call of Duty, like that game actually genuinely impresses me on like what can be done on a mobile game, like even for like, you know, online multiplayer. But I couldn't imagine playing that game on like a touch screen with no
could not even imagine
feedback.
No, I know they have like the what's it called, the Razer.
Yes, there's the Razer Kishi. You got the Steel Series Nimbus Plus, which is my recommendation because
I was thinking the ones that just like plug in each side and you hold it like a switch.
That's
that's
the
Kishi.
That's the Kishi. Yeah, I reviewed them both. That's the Kishi's kind of nice for that stuff. It's a nice solution, but it feels kind of fragile to me.
It depends on the size of the phone. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, like for my iPhone XS, like I found it felt like a flimsy switch, basically. It's definitely preferable to playing with a touchscreen though. Like I've never really been a fan of those either. Most of the games I play are like touch RPGs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've loaded up because I've been testing phones the last little while. I did the Fold, which was really cool the way that it used the screen and whatnot. And now I've signed into Fortnite a couple times on the S22 Plus just to see how it'll run. And the game runs fine. I do not run well.
No. I humored the idea of booting it up on my phone when I got like one of the phones that like gave you that like Galaxy skin if you played them. But then like I was just like, no, I really couldn't imagine doing this on.
I can barely do it on the Switch. Never mind like, no, it's no good.
But bless you, people who are out there trying with the touchscreen controls, because you are very easy to kill.
Good for you. We applaud you, sirs.
There's some that do really well though, and it freaks me out. I'm like, I don't know how you learned to be that coordinated. No. Good
it's like I need the cannon fodder, so thank you for being there.
There you go.
Being unable to respond as quickly. So the other elephant in the room, I think a lot of us have been playing Elden Ring.
Yes. Yes, we have just beat
Godric
the Grafted, yo.
And I'm still in the first area. I just got my horse.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
so things are looking up. Yeah, I gotta say, when I first booted it up, I thought it was just Dark Souls 3 again because it like the menu is the same.
They like those menus. They love those menus.
I mean, why fix what isn't broken? Honestly,
I mean,
I suppose, but like you can make it look a little different.
They look kind of PS3-y in a way.
I think I feel like the only one that really did make a different kind of semi-different kind of layout might have been Bloodborne, but it was still
Yeah.
pretty similar. It
Or
just it
the
was
If
more
that
like
if that one didn't
it's more
have a
like
different
boxy.
UI, if that one didn't have a different UI,
Yeah.
something would be very wrong. It's
Well,
a
they
very
also had
stylistically
what was
different
it?
thing. Even I know that.
The Demon's Souls remake also did have a slightly different
Mhm.
UI as well.
I think Bloodborne's UI works a little bit better too, because like like when you look at Dark Souls, like Dark Souls has a very distinctive UI, but it's
Mhm.
like it's weirdly rectangular for things that are organized in a
Yeah.
cross, whereas Bloodborne actually just had like squares, so it feels kind of like visually and like sort of like hand-eye coordinative way, like it's connected to the D-pad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, what are your thoughts, Chris? You've heard some of mine.
So I'll say this is probably the most palatable a Dark Souls game could be for
It's
me.
too hard. I hate it.
Well, I mean, it's difficult, sure. Part of that I think stems from it being kind of janky still. Like
You think?
so I'm playing a Wretch, as many people
Okay.
recommended
Yep.
to me.
I don't
I-
like that build. I went. I've tried that as well, but because of the placements of weapons within Elden Ring, it's going to be hard to really kind of get past that first hump.
Depending,
Magic's not as hard, but I find like a lot of the. I guess you could go with like the mace you can get early on, things like that.
So
You can get the base, you can get Claymore.
I've heard from a few places that there's a pretty easy way to teleport across the map to get a sword that's pretty awesome.
Okay, yeah.
But I haven't tried that yet myself. But so I'm still stuck with the club because I've only found one other weapon and I didn't have the dex for it because I'm a Wretch.
Club is bad.
The club is really bad. So
it's not great.
I'm reserving judgment until I get something that's a little more agile. But just trying to fight with that thing is like the aiming isn't very good. The animations being slow is one thing, sure. The aiming of it is really janky is the best word I can think of for it.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you're it's like fighting it's like two giant kaiju fighting and like the big swings, like, and then the guards swing at you like that. It's just it's still very Souls, and the open world is great.
Souls.
Makes it very palatable for someone like me who's not a Souls player and just bounced off of Dark Souls 3 pretty hard recently. That being said, like it's not going to be my game of the year for sure. I'm going to stick with it for a while and see what it's all about. But yeah,
I'll tell you this: if you so like from the starting area, if you kind of go around around to, I guess, what would be on the map, kind of like in that area, the southwestern area, there's a beach there. There's just like on the way down, there's a giant, so just try to avoid him. And once you get down there,
just don't do that. Don't go there.
Yeah, I mean they're not hard to kill once you figure out how to do it. But
yeah.
They
with
can
the
kill
club
you
they'll be hard.
Yes, with the club,
it'll be a challenge.
Anything's hard with the club.
If you go down there, there's a like sort of like, just if you just follow the beach, you'll see there's a nomadic trader that can sell you a short sword for like 1,000 runes, and
Yeah,
it's
not
like
that bad.
an easy first sword to get. Like when you get where you got the horse in that, there's like that big like caravan.
Yeah.
Like right in the front, there's a chest that you can get, like it's a big like claymore. That's pretty good, pretty easy. I think it's only like 10 strength and like.
Oh, those ruins there, yeah. That's where I found the flail thing too, but I missed the sword so far. I have to go back.
Yeah, it's like, so it's like at the where the one in the back is where you get the flail, and then there's the one in the front where the point of grace is, where it's like it's like what's it called? It's like the Lord's spoken claymore. It's pretty decent. I traded in for a claymore. I think you get in the round table hold, which I thought was a lot better. Or maybe not. Maybe I found it somewhere else. But yeah, it's kind of like where I've been with it. Like I went Wretch, and I've been basically kind of building a half strength like warrior mage. I think my strength now is at like I want to say like 25, and like just like my stats are kind of like not like very evenly spread, but between like sort of like health, faith, arcane, like not so much arcane, not so much faith. But there are some cool weapons you can get with faith. And yeah, like if you really want to play if you really want to like, kind of like go through it and enjoy it on your first turnaround, I would say like, yeah, just build a strength character, because once you go strength with a big sword, it does get like not easy, but manageable. Like
Yeah, balances out.
I was having because the first character I built was a Dex character, and I was having a really hard time against the first boss that you fight on the bridge, whose name I keep forgetting for some reason.
Yeah.
Considering I fought him so many damn
Martha?
times.
Martha?
I think I made a
Merrick.
bandit.
America, that's it.
Is that what it's called? Bandit?
Yeah,
I looked
Bandit.
that up. That's where I
It's like
started.
a high Dex character.
Yeah.
And
It was a very pretty bandit. So I saw your screenshot
Thank
there.
you. That's all we got going for us. We dead, but we pretty. No, and like I was saying earlier, part of me like wishes that it was more accessible, but at the same time, I totally understand that it doesn't need to be. Like from my perspective, I'm in games. Listen to you guys. I wanna be a part of the conversation, and it sucks that I can't, but I get that I can't. I didn't play any of the Souls games for that. Well, actually, I just didn't. But now I'm not going to for that reason. It's just not conducive to my lifestyle, and I get it. I'm not mad about it, but like I just want to play the pretty game too.
That's why I bounced off of Dark Souls 3, honestly, because like I went into it, I threw myself against the first boss for a while, didn't beat it. Talked to somebody else who's a big player of the series, and then tried to go back and start over and try it again. Ran into something else along the way that kicked my ass repeatedly. Like I just this isn't enjoyable in this form for me.
Yeah.
Like again, as someone who doesn't have the time to just throw myself against a big challenge, right?
Yeah.
But that's that's what I am liking about Elden Ring is that you're not shoehorned into it, right?
Well,
like you can go explore other things.
Well, I just recently. Yeah, that's fair. I was just going to actually say I'm trying a kind of a rush to get good spells built. I got the astrologer, and then I'm going and doing a run to go to kill that giant dragon that's just kind of like sleeping. That gives, if you do it right, you can get like 90,000 runes right away.
Oh, well, is that all?
pro tip for gamers, and Chris, you might want to pay attention to this too. So when you sort of get into like well, I mean like pro tip for gamers, period. And Chris, you should pay attention to this.
This is why I'm exhausted with the Dark Souls community lately.
What I think he means.
I don't mean like he's excluded from it. I mean he's like included. But anyway,
extra included. That's what that meant.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the central so I would say like western or eastern Limgrave. You'll find it's the third church of Marika. It's where you find this like it's called the flask of great physic, and you could like that's like an extra like potion slot you get where you can sort of like find these different materials that they're like sacred tears that you can like mix together it'll have different effects. Like directly north of that church, there's a portal
that's where I went
you to what is arguably the most difficult area of the whole game. But there are these little guys there. They hit like a truck, so you want to be very careful about fighting them, but they're very easy to kill because they don't have a lot of health, and every guy pays out 1094 experience. So you can just farm those guys really easily. I did that for maybe about like an hour, and I leveled up I think like 20 times.
Someone told me about that earlier today, actually. Yeah.
You have that, then you also past the bridge down there. There's that giant dragon dude.
Yeah.
That's just kind of sleeping, and you can just hit him for like 20 minutes. He dies, and then he doesn't fight back or anything. He just sits there.
Now here's my question.
Because I saw him, but I didn't want to approach it because I'm like, oh shit, that's a dragon. The last dragon I fought effed me up hard.
No, once you go across the bridge, there's the dragon that tries to kill you on the bridge. Go past him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different dragon.
There's another dragon. Okay, there's a different dragon. Yeah.
There's a giant sleeping dragon.
Okay, then I'm gonna go check that out after.
Okay, so here's my question though, because you guys are all playing Elden Ring right now. You were kind of mocking like you couldn't go back to Skyrim, but I know that when I started Skyrim, it was very much a game. You go to this area and you're like, well, this sucks, and then you go away for a little while and come back, and you can just like flick the thing that tried to kill you. Now I heard people are saying, well, go, if you went right and it was too hard, go left, do some stuff, and then come back to the right. Does that really work in this game, or is it like no, it'll still be pretty hard, but at least it's a little better?
The difference between Elden Ring and Skyrim is that Elden Ring is sort of built like a Souls game, so that there are definitely areas that you can like that if you can go to them, but you are definitely going to be under leveled. Skyrim, pretty much since Oblivion, like Bethesda builds the games to scale with difficulty.
Yeah.
So if something seems hard in
Ish.
Skyrim, it's like that's like because you're at what is essentially the end of your level cap, and then once
Yeah.
you get past that level cap, it's like you like the yeah you know the things like they start dropping more difficult things into the
Now,
world, but you know you can still kill those like level 5 bandits in
yeah,
every
what
single
what Elder Scrolls did with Oblivion, Skyrim, it was very much like you could go anywhere and eventually do it. Yes, for sure. But when you do that, sorry, but you go, you disappear, you come back, and you'll be fine.
well okay,
But
but
you still are supposed to be able to do it. But if you don't want to deal with it right now, you can walk away. Whatever. What
what
Elder
I mean
Scrolls is, sorry.
sorry, Dana, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
cut
good.
you off there.
No, you're good.
What I mean to say
No.
with that is like, yeah, it's like in Elden Ring and even like certain areas of like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or wherever, like you know, if you go to say like Caelid, which is like the area on the northeast of the map, which is like debatably the most difficult area, like you're gonna find enemies and bosses there that you are no match for.
Yeah.
But if you play Skyrim, like there are areas you can go to where it might seem difficult, but you're never gonna like if you're like say like a level 1, you're never gonna go anywhere in Skyrim and find like a level 60 boss. You'll find like but you know but whatever's within the level cap before the difficulty starts scaling,
You can do
you'll
that in
find like
games
you know
like World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
exact yeah
But what
World
I
of
was
Warcraft
trying to
even
say,
Morrowind did that too.
yep, what I was trying to say though is that Elder Scrolls has actually gone the opposite direction now because they're the online game. What
Hmm.
they do with all of their expansions or whatever, when you start the game, you can go anywhere. And it will one.
Hmm.
It's not you can go there here, and it'll be a little bit harder because you probably shouldn't be there yet. You can
Yeah.
literally start day one playing the the most
And
recent expansion. And I thought that was cool to kind of let people start where they want to go, but I know that it's not really conducive to this kind of game. So I
no,
wasn't
that's what
sure
I
if
mean.
there really
Yeah, it
was a
doesn't.
chance for me to go get stronger and come back, or if I should just hate myself now.
Well, no, that's yeah, but that's again like that's a very like Soulsian thing, right? It's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
they definitely this one, like I said, like I think it does feel a lot more accessible in that way where it's like it really does want you like you know because it guides you to a certain point right from the start, right? And it kind of guides you there, and then once you get there, it's very clear that you sort of can't beat that first boss. So like it's encouraging, okay, like try going somewhere else. Go, you know, find some caves, find some catacombs. You'll find better weapons. You'll find some
Yeah.
bosses that aren't as difficult, and you know, and you take them on. And so as you're playing, you know, not only are you sort of like making your character better, but you're also more like understanding the world a little bit more, understanding the game a little more, and getting better at the game. You know, if it's like if it's your you know if it's within your capacity, if you're just not having fun, then you're just not going to be like you
Yeah.
know getting like that different skill. Um because yeah, like I was sort of doing that too, and then once I kind of hit a roadblock and I couldn't really find any more like cool or like any more like catacombs or areas, I kind of just started grinding a little bit because I wanted to like make I wanted to like just beef up my character a little bit and start taking on some of these more like interesting
Yeah.
bosses and head to some of these different areas. But even in doing that, I had a lot of like really cool, fun experiences. Like I didn't know when you so from those ruins, Chris, the gatefront ruins.
Mhm.
You know, if you head to the east, there's like a bridge there that sort of leads into this
Mhm.
like you know leads into Limgrave, which is a you know is a cool area by itself. I had no idea that a boss shows up on that bridge only at nighttime because I had been crossing it during the
Hmm.
day, and then one time I went there across at night, and there's a
Surprise,
giant
motherfucker!
like like wielding like horse rider on that bridge, and it just like triggered a boss fight. And I was like, holy
Do,
shit!
do, do,
Like
do. Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah.
it got really cool. So like there are these like genuine surprise moments where you just sort of like go into an area and it's like, oh, here's a boss fight. You know what I mean? Like and that like that guy wasn't there before. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I've heard someone else I know said that he was playing with a friend and they spent like 8 hours in one area, and they were kind of comparing notes afterwards, and they realized that each of them had missed 3 areas within that area, Like they just like in all that time they never came across these other things just hiding in there somewhere. So it's impressive in terms of scope for sure. Like when I got out of the tomb and it wasn't Dark Souls 3 anymore, I was like, oh, this is here we go. Here's the PS5 power. Like here's the scope of this gigantic thing. Even though I was looking at myself in my naked glory, which was concerning.
Same.
What? Because I could see this big dude on the horizon walking back and forth on a horse and going like, I'm staying here naked with a club in my hands. I don't want to go near that.
That's
but
the Dark Souls
I can go
challenge.
here. I can go there. Like there was more options there. So like it's encouraging in that way. It's just I'm not going to be converted to Souls after this. Like
even and like I said, like like in the very first in the first like church you go to, the Church of LA, like you can get some basic armor out of there, which isn't like it's like medium armor, so it's not like the strongest, but it's better than nothing at this.
That's what I've been doing because I've been kind of just in that area still, just like taking out the guards, kind of getting used to the jankiness of the club and just piecing together stuff from things they dropped and from things I've bought. So getting ready to kind of go out into the world now.
There's a cave in that area too that's like where it's just like populated by like wolves, and then the boss.
Yeah, like a werewolf type dude.
Yeah.
I need a wolf in Fortnite. Does anybody care? Can't find one.
Yes. They made it easier to befriend the wolves in Fortnite. I noticed that was a lot. There's no like load anymore. It's like instant.
I just can't find any. I need to kill one. Anyway. Your wolf cave that I'm jealous of.
Yeah, there's like that. There's like there's a catacomb. If you come out of the tomb area, you should see it's pretty close to you, like just like almost like directly in front of you. There's like a statue of like looks like a sort of like a crypt keeper. He's holding his hand out. And I didn't know. I kind of like Googled what those things are. Like those things like point at like important sort of like areas. So like that like so literally like if you just like look at where it's pointing, it's almost always pointing at like a catacomb. So if you go in there, you're bound to find like at least one good weapon or get like a good talisman out of it.
That's cool.
And yeah, like that's what I mean. Like so it's like things are sort of like constantly unfolding that make the game, in my opinion, like just like progressively interesting. Like so once you beat the first of the demigods, you'll get like a great rune, which if you notice on the map, there are those like big towers. Each of those towers like corresponds to one of the great runes. So you have to like, once you get the rune, it's basically powerless. You have to go to those towers to like refill the charge, and it gives you different effects, right? Beating the boss also gives you what's called a remembrance, so you can take it to the like the sort of little sub area, and there is a horrific like living, like it's literally just like this. It's 2 fingers, and it's just like alive for whatever reason. But
they just let it live.
And that's what I mean. I'm like, all these guys, like, they were like, former, they're all tarnished. They're in this round table hold, which is like the area for tarnished who are like going after the Elden Ring. But nobody's talking about that. Like, they just let that thing be there. So like, so like the remembrances will give you like different things. So basically, like, it's like you can choose whether or not, like the one I got from Godric is like I can either choose to have like a really cool axe, or I can make my left arm a dragon that like either like bites or shoots fire.
Your left arm.
Yeah, it literally makes your arm into like a dragon's head. Because did you not beat Godric yet? Okay,
exploring.
Halfway through the fight, he like rips the head off of a dragon and makes it his like arm, and he's like shooting fire and doing stuff. So yeah, it literally will do that exactly because he's grafted. So like it'll make your arm just like a little dragon. But then there's also on the map, there are these giant, you probably saw it maybe in the loading screen, but unless you're a fancy PS5 user and you don't have loading screens.
Yeah, 2 seconds. There's 2 seconds.
There's if you saw one of those the walking mausoleums.
Yeah.
So like those things are dotted around the map, and you can actually use them to replicate remembrances. So if you want to get like different effects, you can like, or both the things from them, you can do that. But every mausoleum only allows you to like duplicate one remembrance. So it's like, yeah, it's just you're like constantly exploring and finding like cool things and seeing what the world has to offer. Like little trap chests that keep sending you to different parts of the map, so you just keep getting these little glimpses of what's to come. Like it's so great.
I gotta say though, I want to play Breath of the Wild now. Like, just makes me want to play
what?
Breath
No,
of the Wild.
Actually, I kind of agree with you on that. Playing Elden Ring definitely kind of made me want to go back to Breath of the Wild. Not, I mean, because again, like they're such different games.
Mhm.
But it's like that sense of like discovery and like feeling like you're in this like big like living world that has so much to offer and around, and every time you sort of come to a new place you're finding new little things and seeing new little pieces of history, little pieces of runes and stuff that used to
See, but
be
I
there.
feel that way about the Elder Scrolls games. I feel that way about some of the Fallout games too. You everywhere you go, you've got an entirely new type of area. There's new food on the tables. There's stuff like that that Jordan doesn't dig it, eh? That's what when I see
I'm
Elden Ring, I
sorry.
want to go back to that. Like I want a new version of that. Not necessarily that that brand, that franchise, but I want a new something like that. And I really hoped it'd be Elden Ring, and I think it could be if I was a little bit better. So I don't know.
Or if it
Maybe
made you
better might be
halfway a little bit. Yeah. It definitely does not.
Well,
It definitely does not meet you anywhere, right? Like you have to come
this is
to
kind of
it.
why I was saying, like, I feel honestly, I do feel like if you want probably the most accessible version of Elden Ring, the way that you want to play it, I guess in like quote unquote like easy or normal
Yeah.
mode, just sink like 15 points into strength. Just build a strength.
Just go in.
I mean,
and-
honestly, the mage builds are pretty powerful too.
I've
Oh yeah,
heard that the
the
mage is
magic in this game
pretty.
is
Yeah.
busted.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
magic.
no,
If you do
magic
it
is
properly, you
busted.
can kill bosses in seconds with some of the magic.
Oh yeah, that big like Kamehameha beam
Yeah,
that
like
they have.
there's no
like,
complaint for me that I can't go in and do that. It's just it's what it's making me crave. Like
Yeah.
that same like
mhm.
open world, go around and pick herbs for 4 hours and see what you find. Like that's something I love about games.
Yeah.
You know, I can do that in friggin' Story of Seasons too. Just wander around my little farm and be like, I can pick this and I can pick
Yeah.
that. So I
And
just want a bigger, better version of that.
we might have touched on it last week, but I think like, and I think that's where we keep our like we're clashing right now, Dana, about
Yeah.
like because I don't think I could ever go back to Skyrim after Elden Ring,
After
just
Elden Ring.
because like for everything that Skyrim kind of does, it's like even before I played Elden Ring, I was really seeing like the threads being pulled where like like how many like caves felt the same, how many quests were just like go here, clear out the bandit camp, whatever, do that again, wash, rinse, repeat. Like
And that's not the
it
case in
felt
Elden Ring?
no, everything feels deliberate. Every like dungeon, every cave feels like it's designed with intention. No two caves really feel the same. Just between even just like it just small the way like the small ways that they're laid out, the enemies that are in there, the bosses at the end of them. And that's what I mean. Like it everything feels like it's where it needs to be because from like they didn't use an open world as an excuse to cut corners. They used it as a way to flesh out the idea that they had. They made that
I dig
they
that,
had
though. I can
a
respect
Souls
that.
game. Yeah, and they just made it feel bigger, right? Like you're never gonna be play a game like Skyrim and like I said, like find a boss that only shows up in a certain area at nighttime. It's just gonna be here's a dragon or here's an ogre or whatever. Like they're all the same.
See, but that's where like all of my MMO stuff comes in. Like that does happen. That is
Well, there you
so.
go.
You know, it's just tying all my favorite things together. I just need to get better or like sell my kids. One of the other.
Well,
my
yeah,
kids
no,
long enough so I can get better.
Sell your
There's-
kids for Elden Ring.
There's definitely a group of people out there who
Otherwise.
like want to enjoy this game. Like you and I are in this camp, I think, Dana, where you want to get into, and it's just not suited for the way your life is right now.
And that's a dangerous little turn that gets into the people that are like, well, not every game has to be for us. And it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And I get that. Guess what? A racing game isn't for me either, guys.
Yeah. And it also ties into an ongoing debate about difficulty in games too, right? Like you have a lot of people online who still taunt other people because they play on a story difficulty and they only want to enjoy the story of the game. That's not the crushing defeats of the gameplay system. Like I think we still have room for, some kind of accommodation in games like this.
I 100% agree.
It's something that I find interesting too, because like I've said before, like I initially wasn't really into Dark Souls. Like I tried playing it once, when I think there was like a free Dark Souls 2 on the 360 at one point. They just like gave it away, and I tried playing it, and like I genuinely couldn't get into. I couldn't understand it. And then the first boss I got to was like it was just too hard. I was like, this is stupid. Why would I want to play this ever?
Yeah.
And then like it wasn't until I sat down and played Bloodborne that I was like, holy shit, I get it now. This game is amazing, and I fell in love with the whole Souls like series. So like, I guess that's kind of where like I'm kind of like, no, like anyone can get into Dark Souls, because I didn't like it at first either, and I had a really hard time with it too. But like, it's just sort of like I think there's got to be that one game that really grabs you, and then you want to get into it.
Yeah, and then you want to fight. Like for me, I've never played any of those games. I immediately walked into the guy that I shouldn't have. Well, I was not in a great mind space, and went, nope.
Yeah.
Like that's the answer. But I've been watching Brendan play, and I enjoy watching. And I don't know. Like to me, he'll die, and I'm like, that's dumb. Why are you dead? You suck. And then I'm like, oh wait,
Because,
never mind. This game takes effort.
Get good, scrub.
Yeah.
At the same time too, I will say that like I really think Elden Ring, like more than any other Souls game, they made like multiplayer a lot more accessible, and even like offline, like just the way you can summon spirits and stuff too to help you in fights, like it's there this one definitely feels like they're trying to like get rid of that sort of like like that dumb like get good thing where like people are like will berate you for doing any fight like not by yourself, you know what I mean? Like this game definitely wants you to get into the multiplayer. This game definitely wants you to bring help into the boss fights. Even like most of the big boss fights, like right before Godric, they give you the option to summon like an NPC who actually really helps during the fight.
That's always
So
a sign.
like,
Here's
you
a
know what I
health
mean?
kit.
Like between like an NPC, my own sort of like beefed up character, and my spirit jellyfish, Jelly Boy is so useful. Like Godric actually wasn't as hard as like when I just tried to I was like, I can do this by myself. I'm a big boy now. Like
yeah, that's
no,
where
I'm not a big boy.
Here's a health kit, and why is my game currently saving? Why is it auto saving? Oh god.
Help me.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, that's
stick with it, guys, honestly.
That's Elden Ring. We'll probably come back to this one throughout the year, I think, because I mean, I know I got some of the review coming up, and I just realized that Iron Banner returns to Destiny next week, and that's my favorite thing in Destiny. So I'll be checking back in on this throughout the year, I think, and seeing how it goes. But it does make me more excited for Stranger of Paradise, actually, because like I liked the Jedi Fallen Order, which is like a Souls-like thing. Kind of takes some of the difficulty out of it a little bit. Like, it's a little more forgiving, a little more
definitely
a little less impenetrable. So there's elements there I like, and yeah, we'll come back around on it. But I think that's probably gonna do it for us for this week, unless anyone else had anything else, right?
Nope, I'm good.
No, I think we're good.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fortnite season's ending next weekend. Make sure you
talk about that next week.
Something else I gotta play this week. I needed like 4 more levels to get something else off the battle pass.
Tell your kids.
What.
The 3 weeks of bonus experience I got from not playing it because I've been too busy playing Elden Ring.
If you'd like to read more on the topics we discussed tonight and more, you can find full coverage at cgmagonline.com. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search for CG Mag. And if you have any questions or comments, send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com. Jordan, where can people find you?
You can find me drawing stuff sometimes on Instagram. You can find me posting stuff sometimes on TikTok and at what it says here, Ninja X Jordan. And you can find me on YouTube at Ninja Jordan Reviews.
Dayna.
Those are some places. You can find me at the Dayna Eileen. I believe that is Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, good times.
Cool. Brendan.
BFry26 on basically everything.
We did it.
And you can catch me on Twitter at Hoogathy, as below, and on Twitch at Guild2Taps. So on behalf of everyone here at CG Magazine, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.
So many salutes. There we go.
Oh.
We did it.
Oh.